Hello, I am Guillermo Villaseñor, and this presentation is for my class Psychology 516, Industrial Organizational Psychology at Liberty University Online, Professor Dr. Benjamin Wood. During this video, I will be addressing 5 questions, and my first question that I need to address is how have recent historical events affect the course of research in organizational psychology? Give an example of an event and resulting outcome. Certain historical events have definitely impacted the field of industrial organizational psychology. This have made the industrial organizational psychology field expand from its original form. One in particular, World War II, shift the perspective of the industrial organizational psychology because of the demands from the military. These demands opened opportunities for professionals in applying as well as experimenting with organizational psychology. Further, this has created an expansion in design and approach to the study of industrial organizational psychology. Mukinski 2015, Culverstone 2015. Before the Second World War, the American Psychology Association, well known as the APA, was no concern with experimental or applied fields between psychology. In response to this change occurring in psychology at the time, the APA created a Division 14, Industrial and Business Psychology. This arm of the APA went through a couple of changes and eventually evolved into the Society for Industrial Organizational Psychology, Spector 2008, COPS 2007, and JEX 2002. Social media and technological advances in the workplace have resulted in the unique problems that have demanded the organizational psychology to change too. Researchers have been more precise, accurate for the tasks ahead. The Facebook Cambridge Analytica data scandal, perhaps one of the greatest historical events. The scandal put Facebook on edge. Allegedly, Facebook had manipulated exposed personal data to influence voters' polls. Coppins and Stephens 2018. The scandal initiated public discussion on corporate, social media runs, enterprise and political consulting companies. Consumers advocates have called for extra client safety in an online media and proper access to privacy, as well as a course on incorrect information and propaganda. Pagni 2017. Question number 2. Describe the socialization process for graduate students in your program. Is the program successful in socializing newcomers and creating job embeddedness? Generally, organizational socialization is the process where a person will transition from outsider to the member of the organization. Recruiting a new hiring begin integrated into the system of the organization. Jakes, Breed, and Downsonera 2008. Applying this concept of socialization process for graduate students in my program, which is the Master of Arts in Applied Psychology with concentration in Industrial Organizational, the program has succeeded in helping the students to become familiar with the university and its services from the orientation all the way to enrolling in classes. During the classes, we need to participate in learning platform through discussions. As an online student, we have the option to follow Liberty University through social media. Social media has changed the way the students and professors At this, social media has changed the way the students and professors and the school interact on a big scale. Socialization is vital for the success of the graduate students. Therefore, a sense of community, being a part of a group usually working towards a common goal, has been developed among the graduate students. Students have shown improvement, and now graduates can link their professional goals with the same framework for socialization. Matures and Chen 2015. Question number 3. How can an organization reduce or prevent work-family conflict? Balancing satisfaction of work as well as that of the family needs socialization aspects in creating balance. Eklund 2016 noted that the conflict that arises between family and work range from work to family, time-based family to work, behaviors-based as well as strength-based conflicts on psychological stress experiences. Significantly, Gizmodo and Cornell University 2011 highlighted that the reality remains that the work and family activities happen and each of the entities affects individuals. Work-family balance has been cause of disagreement as various years, and market players try to set the two subsets of life at equilibrium over the years. Increasing job-related demands make it hard for most people to keep up with family needs. A happy staff make a productive team. A key ingredient to having a happy staff lays in a balanced work-family relationship. Attitudes in and around organization, 1998. Employers should engage in proper training programs. Well-qualified staff fulfill demands, therefore less likely to be stressed or overwhelmed. In the training program, organization supervisors should demonstrate empathy and provide adequate emotional support to their employees. The organization should embark on schedule flexibility, making sure that the staff does control the work on the schedule so they can flex their time and fulfill those family demands. At the same time, employees will develop a sense of responsibility among the work staff and their schedule. Goldman 1996. Question number 4. Imagine you have been asked to develop a performance assessments program for employees development. What technique could you use to adequately evaluate employee performance as comprehensively as possible? Think about Murphy's list. Measure of employment performance for employees development will help in understanding the strengths and weaknesses of employees for improvement. Performance assessments generate a tremendous amount of valuable data, but companies can only achieve these benefits if they approach performance management as an ongoing process rather than a single annual event. Begin by defining role-based competencies and behaviors for every employee so they know exactly what is expected from them. First, I will conduct a peer review to evaluate the workers. This methodology involves considering feedback from teammates and colleagues on areas of employees' performance. Secondly, self-evaluating method, which allows the workers to actively participate in the evaluation procedure. Thirdly, quantitative evaluation, whereby using statistics and standards in tracking productivity. Finally, by use of competencies skills in grading the various job roles, Johnson and Lemire 2016. Performance assessments generate a tremendous amount of valuable data, but it only adds value if it is incorporated into the human resources planning process. Fisher 2016. Along with supporting compensation decision, this data can be used to justify new training programs, identify candidates for fast-track careers development, and help define long-term succession plan. Question number 5. What are some possible common organizational constraints? How could they lead to counterproductive behavior? Monetary capital will be a possible common organizational constraint. Generally, strategy implementations needs monetary investments, and every organization is contained by the cost and level of the capital available. Even though companies can get extra capital to equity, sales, and borrowings, management needs to find out whether capital could be obtained at a cost that is reasonable, or existing capital relocating will be more efficient and effective. James, Britt, and Downs on era 2008. This can make it hard for the organizations to cater for the financial needs for workers, leading to behaviors like production decline, wasting resources, and excessive rates, and others. Organizational constraints can be either physical limitations, and time limitations. A primary organizational constraint is rigid, wrong business model, fear of changing a new. Each business model works differently from any business endeavor. Samanis, Hart, and Duke 2008. A wrong business models. The ever-changing business trend requires a great, flexible, and adaptable business model. Nokia suffered a massive loss despite being the largest shareholder in the tech world. Leadership is not in the right tune with the business demands, becomes an organizational constraint. Top leadership should meet exemplary standards to cater to all the various departments. Many of the adversaries humankind face today are related to lack of quality leadership. A bad administration will wreck the staff morale and the corporation's aims and objectives. Thank you so much, and cheers.